It's like that, guys. You gotta stay on it. Look at that split, dude. They might have made it worse. He really shook this. What's up, guys? Kenji here. We got a big oak tree. Well, this is a pretty nasty split here. And this oak tree is, and I don't even know how it's still standing. Like the size of this thing and the amount of lean it has, it's a miracle it stayed standing. Anyhow, I'm just gonna explain some things as we go along here with the crane. So we're bringing the skid steer. The good thing is, what's nice about this is there's nothing really under it. We can just cut everything. So I'm gonna climb up, strip it up, and they'll take the brush out with the skid steer up through here, or the other side, up to the road. So it's a pretty nasty split. So I'm gonna tie in up here. I'm gonna go out here and just cut these limbs off as big as I can, get as much weight off. Yeah. Spinning. So here, guys, I'm struggling ascending a bit because my knee ascender bungee is all messed up and it's not pulling the ascender back up. And then 2, this is a brand new rope, and I don't know if it's like all twisted or what, but for some reason I kept wanting to spin around on it, and I was trying to like prevent myself from spinning, but like for some reason it wanted to like wind me. So as I was going up this left side of the tree to tie in, I had my camera on the whole time, and I was cutting off some of the limbs just to eliminate weight, but my GoPro like glitched out, and I don't know if it's from the heat or what it was, but it completely glitched out, and the footage wasn't saved somehow, so that sucked. So guys, my GoPro is just shutting off. This is a Hero 10. I just got it like a month ago. The 8 I have is in for warranty, and now this one I just went to shut it off and the whole thing just froze, like, so I didn't get any of this. Anyhow, we got a canopy anchor we sent up from the ground. Right now I'm just trying to get some weight off of this piece I'm tied into. And then I'm gonna have to swing over there and get that dead top. Then I'll go out for that split side. I'm gonna need a bigger saw. But first I want to get as much weight off of my tie-in as I can. Because it's safer. And I want to inspect my anchor that I sent up from the ground, just to make sure it's right. It didn't get like twisted around and the pins are facing in towards the tree, because I want them facing out. So the canopy anchor I used here is just it's a DMM Pinto pulley and the Notch Quickie, which I like to use a Quickie instead of a carabiner, just so I'm not side loading the carabiner. I think the Quickie is better for that, but at the same time it's kind of sketchy because you got to make sure you send it upright to where those pins are facing out and they're not being pressed in against the tree. So I'm using the zigzag and chicane here, and it's pretty worn out and it slips on 11mm lines, and I didn't think it would slip with the chicane on it, SRT, but it did slip, so I ended up switching to the rope runner here soon. I'm not going to climb all the way up, but you can see the pins are facing out. I have it attached with the pulley and the Notch Quickie. Just going to move this on this side. Alright. So, I really am thinking I'm going to switch to the rope runner. Just because this zigzag is worn out. the blooming. Oh, that feels smooth. It's actually a little bit too loose. I should tighten that up a bit. That's way better than my 2 ropes that I use with it. Dude, that's way better than my rope.
Yeah, dude, it's almost like they're made.
It's slipping a bit. It's slipping a bit, but I have it adjusted for a 1/2 inch line. I wish I had an Allen key, I would switch it.
Do we have any in the truck?
Yeah, in that Craftsman toolbox. I don't remember. So I have this set for my 1/2 inch. Well, it's not 1/2 inch, it's 12. And I also have an 11/7 it's set for, but it doesn't, like, you gotta really yank on it to get it smooth. I have it open all the way, but this is like smooth, but it is slipping. I don't have all my weight on it right now, but it was slipping just a second ago. Anyhow, we're going up this dead top. We're gonna get it out so I have a clear rope angle to get over there. I'll have to go out and cut this off. My saw, I don't have enough power to be able to cut through this big of a piece without it splitting and peeling down and being goofy. So when you're cutting these big pieces, it's really important that you have a nice, powerful and sharp saw to be able to cut through it fast, because if not, that's when they barber chair, they split, they peel and hinge and do all kinds of weird stuff, and it just makes it more dangerous than it should be. And yeah, it's safest and easiest to have a big, fast cutting saw. So trees like this, you gotta watch out for bees' nests and stuff. They like to make their hives up in there. If there's little holes and stuff, yellow jackets will make nests in there. Hornets will make nests out on limbs. And if there's bigger holes, there's other critters like raccoons and squirrels and stuff you gotta watch out for. So you gotta pay attention to this stuff. I'm gonna inspect that hole again now, see if that stirred up any bees.
Breakfast sandwich bag. I'm just setting up the whole pack.
Look at this rig job, guys. The sandwich bag. That's nice. Very nice.
That's top of the line.
I know. I think I'll get this top out first. Yeah, I know, there's a little hole. I was worried about there being bees in there. So now this top is gonna be a bit tricky because I gotta miss the deck. So guys, this is a pretty tricky cut here. And I can't have it go too far left. It'll hit this limb and it'll cause it to flip and roll into the deck. So I do swipe it a little and you'll see it actually roll, but it doesn't hit it and make it bounce enough to where it goes into the deck. Like, it went perfectly where I wanted it to go. And I was favoring the edge of that limb anyhow, because if you hit the tips of them, it'll swipe down through, but if it's too far left, it hits that stronger wood, when it's going to bounce off and roll and do weird stuff. So we'll put side cuts in this, give it a dead. Because I'm using a smaller saw. This rope runner on this rope is pretty smooth going down. It's just a little too much. See, I'm slipping. We're just gonna adjust this real quick. I should have did this on the ground, guys. I'm gonna have to tighten that a little more. I don't know. See, now it feels like there's friction to get it to break. Yeah, she's slipping though, which is a fucking problem. If I add more friction, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to break the fucking thing. This yard's gonna all get tore up, so I'm not worried about them landing flat. Bigger saw, guys. See, now it's too much to break it. The rope runner I'm talking about. It's like, you get it to a point where it's not slipping, but then it's like, it's still slipping. And I have to really yank on the fucking bird. I don't know if I'm not heavy enough, or if there just needs to be more. I don't know. Maybe the bottom ones need more friction. That's how I would prefer it. I'd prefer the bottom to have all the friction, so I could break the top bird easily. It's not bad, it's better than my other ropes though. Small saw, I have to cut it from two sides. I have to cut this side, then go around and cut the other side. I should have a bigger saw, but really at this point in time in the tree, I only need it for this one cut, so I didn't want to just send this one down and then get a big one and then send it down and then that one back up. So sometimes I just will deal with the smaller saw. If it's sharp and cutting fast enough, it's no problem at all. You can cut the side and you can reduce it to where the saw will actually cut through it like that right there, no problem. My GoPro like froze up, so I'm hoping the intro got recorded and me going up and stripping this. I know that side up there I was stripping and I went to pause it and it didn't beep. And I looked and it was completely frozen. It wouldn't shut off or anything. I had to take the battery out. So basically all I did was go up there, I cut everything off I could to eliminate as much weight. And now I got that dead center top out. And then now I have a good rope angle and path. I can swing out over there without any obstruction. But there was a couple tricky tops up there that were out over these little cherries and maples that I had to do some tricky cuts on. So I'm hoping they're recorded, but I don't know. Here's the beast from the driveway. We had the rear mount crane originally. We were going to try to set it up here. but there's nowhere to get this outrigger here on this wall. We would have pushed this wall right out with that outrigger. And even then it's a far reach. That piece that split way out there, he wouldn't have been able to reach that back bottom limb. And we could have took these tops in small pieces, but it's just easier to hammer down, and then we're bringing it out with the jacuzzi around here. The whole yard's getting tore up. They already had like a semi road built here. They got a garage. I guess they're going to make a bigger one or something in here. Like they're putting an addition on this garage or something. I don't know. So the whole yard's getting tore up anyhow. But from here you can see that lead that split. It's leaning like this. I mean, here's straight up and down, and then you can see that one's jetting way out. It's far. It's gonna be a little spooky out there. If you guys like these videos, smash that like button, hit subscribe. Really help me out. Alright guys, I'm gonna gear back up while Kyle's finishing sharpening that saw. I have to have a super sharp saw for this stuff, or else we're gonna have barber tearing and all kinds of splitting and dangerous situations. I have to take these things big, you know. Cuts like that, guys, you gotta stay on it. Look at that split, dude. It might have made it worse. We really shook this. Okay guys, here again, my GoPro like glitched out. It didn't film me climbing up this side for some reason. Or it didn't save it. I'm not sure. But we're up there in the top of it now, and pretty tricky stuff, because every time I cut a piece off, although I'm taking a lot of weight off, it's pushing force on that tree, and then it's causing it to shake around. And like, if you look, you can see the tree actually moving, but like I'm looking down at the split and I can see it opening and closing a little like this. It's kind of spooky. And then here soon the wind picks up pretty good, and the wind's blowing the whole thing. But for the most part, once you cut a lot of weight off of there, like these limbs weigh 10 times what I weigh, gives you a peace of mind. You actually feel a little bit better about being up there. guys. The wind's picking up. You know, this is still dangerous no matter how much weight I get off, because each piece I cut, I'm putting a lot of force on it. Look, that split's still wide open. I'm up across from my tie-in, so it's like I can't get that tight. I have a bad rope angle. Very dangerous. Not gonna lie, it's dangerous. I'm gonna go up a little higher. Single rope is great for accessing a tree and for ascending up, but I think in general for doing like widespread trees and big limb walks and stuff, and then dead trees or splits, like dangerous stuff, double rope is way safer and a better option, because you can use it to really get your weight off of whatever you're on. You can put all your weight onto your climbing system, whereas with single rope and you're going on a limb, you can't really tighten yourself up like you can with double rope system. I always try to climb double rope on trees like this, but I've just been experimenting with this rope runner. It's not very good with double rope. Some guys say, you know, it does good, but I don't like it for double rope. So yeah, double rope is great for weight distribution. When you're trying to go out on something that you don't want all your weight on, it really helps give you that mechanical advantage to take your weight off of whatever you're going out on, like a limb or a lead or whatever, and disperse it to your tie-in point instead. You could see it split. They started to barber shred a little, and that's why I said it's important to have a sharp cutting saw, because you can be able to cut through this stuff fast, especially when they're big pieces like this and there's a lot of weight putting a lot of tension on that piece, because as soon as you start cutting it, all that tension is pulling down and it wants to split it. So here we're going to start chunking wood, and some of these cuts, although I put a notch in it, I don't actually need it to hinge or anything. I call this a controlled slice cut. Instead of just slicing it off real quick, I'll put a notch in it, and it does two things. A, it helps control the direction it's going, and B, it's less wood for me to cut. So what I'll do is put a little notch in it, and I'll start to cut until it starts to move where I want it to, and then I'll slice it off, and I'll call that controlled slice cut. So if you guys see me here like cutting through the hinge or whatever, I'm doing that intentionally, because I want these pieces of wood to start to move a little, and then before I cut them off. And I don't want them peeling down, or I wouldn't, if I didn't put a notch in it and I cut through it, it would peel. Or if I cut through it real fast, like an actual slice, what would happen is the butt will kick down, and then the top of it can come back at me, or it can take the saw with it sometimes. So if you put a notch in it, it makes the piece move away from you, or in the direction you want, and then you can slice it off. So these pieces, I don't necessarily want them hinging. So although I'm putting a notch in them, I'm still doing a slice cut. Like, I call that a guided slice cut. So what I do is I'll put a notch in it, and so I can get a direction with it. I can guide it in a certain direction, and then once it starts to go, I slice it off, just like you would with a slice cut. I call it a guided slice cut. So I just thought I'd mention that before you guys go saying I'm cutting my hinge off, because with some pieces I will, and I'm doing it on purpose. So we're gonna go ahead and take a big chunk here. This yard's getting tore up, so it doesn't matter. And I think I'll let Kyle finish the other top. Just to be nice. Because he wants this part. This is the hard part. And the dangerous part. He should be able to do that. He'll probably have to rope that top down though. Back up this side I tied into, and this thing's tall. I mean, it's probably 95 foot, and it grows weird. Like the tree, it starts out like it's going this way, and then it twists that way. Then you get up there where it gets down to like this, and it jets back out this way. It's on a real hard lean. And it's leaning right out over the deck in the house, so I have to get up there where it's real skinny to be able to cut this stuff to miss the deck. At least for me, I got scrawny little legs. Holes in it here. twisty and curvy. Kyle didn't want to finish it. I was really hoping he did. It's tight. Alright guys, we're way up here. We got things all curving, the wind's blowing. I gotta get up there where it's really skinny and there's a curve, but these guys, and I told them I don't want them under me while I'm up here. I don't want to have to wait. Once I get up here, I need to get it done. So here I am waiting. I just need them to get out of the damn way. And they're too worried about brush. Like, I'm getting pissed. My safety is more important than cleaning that shit up. They just don't seem to understand. Towards the deck. Only that, but the wind is blowing hard, so I'm fighting the wind to push it. I left good hinge so that I could push it, and normally if the wind wasn't blowing I would have been able to push that easily, but because the wind's blowing so much, I'm struggling here fighting with the wind, because as I push, the wind's blowing it this way and I can't really cut too much. I have to make sure I leave good hinge, or else, you know, I snip a millimeter too much and it's going on the deck. So this is where I take out the handsaw so I can control, like, cut just a little bit at a time and then push. Basically laying down right now, so I can't get good work positioning. First of all. Second of all, I'm putting tension on this. I mean, I'm up here, it's 5 inches where I'm at diameter. We have a huge split down there. The wind's blowing. You know, and I have leverage on this tree. You know, that's the thing, guys. down little by little like this. And take small chunks. Videos is the sideline should be below the buck strap. That might happen. I try to push it out as it came went over, but whatever. Go bigger, go home, huh? So it's probably hard to tell here on the video, but I'm not doing a very deep notch here, and that's because my saw is too small. The bar just won't reach if I try to do a deep one. So I'm just doing it shallow enough to where the bar will reach across on a lean, like the thing growing twisty. So where I'm making the cuts is where it's leaning in a certain direction, so it doesn't need a deep notch anyhow. Tough stuff, but I had to cut that hinge right off. I was worried it was gonna hang on and hit my leg. And I'm laying on a lean here, so I can't pipe around the other side. You know what I mean? Here, this piece. I mean, this is like 20-inch wood right here, and this is, I think it's a 16-inch bar. But, so I want to cut it this direction, like this, but my saw won't reach all the way through, so I have to start to cut by cutting the side of it this way, until I get enough of it cut to where I can flip the saw and actually make the cut from this side, and my bar will reach. So all I'm doing is reducing the diameter of the wood. So all that wood's going to get cut either way. Okay, you guys see how I did that? Because my saw was too small, I cut this half first, like sideways, and then I came in and went this way. So I basically reduced the overall diameter by cutting half of it here, so that I could make a cut straight through. get a bigger saw to demonstrate getting these pieces to land flat, although I haven't tried to get any of them to land flat this entire tree because it doesn't matter. You know, a lot of guys say it's you cut 20% of it or whatever. That's not the case at all. It's all in the angle of your notch or how you cut it, like the speed at which you cut it. There's different ways. Like I just did that and it landed flat. I could easily repeat that. And it don't matter what side it is. I'll make a video on that actually because, like, see this one's too long. If I cut it off slowly, it's gonna hit tip first because it's not gonna have time to flip. So what I gotta do is cut it slow, real slow to where it feels. That way it holds on until it's basically 180 degrees, then cut it off and it'll flip. It'll land flat. You know what I mean? If it was shorter, you'd have to cut it faster to get it to flip. So it would have more time to flip. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So this is going to be my last cut. They want this log left up. I don't know if they want it any lower than that piece or what. So I'll just cut this and then I'll find out. This is another thing I'm going to do a video on. Is getting these logs to land flat, because guys say, you know, in general 20% and it'll flip and land flat, but and in a perfect world, yeah, that's probably correct, 20%, but that would be dependent on your notch would have to be the exact same angle and the exact same depth every time with the exact same amount of hinge. Any three of those things tweaked and you would get a different result. And there's actually multiple ways to get logs to land flat regardless of their length. And it depends on the depth of the notch, the angle of it, and the amount of hinge you use, and how slow or fast you cut through it when it does start to go. If you want it to flip, if you want a log to flip extra, you're gonna have to let it hinge on longer to where it flips. It basically flips as much as it can before it leaves the stem. If you want it to flip less, you gotta cut it off so it doesn't flip any before it leaves the stem. Move my rope down a little lower. In case this peels because I'm cutting it in the wrong direction, guys. Yeah, I messed this one up. Flat, if I let that hinge around so it held on until it flipped 180 degrees. If I cut right through it quickly, it wouldn't have time to flip extra. Alright guys, he doesn't want this up as high as I thought, so we can cut it at the ground. We're going to cut it, you know, like 8 feet off the ground or whatever. So I got it short enough we can drop it. How this is breathed. See this? This is too much tension, like too much friction for this rope runner. I can't. I really have to pull on it to get it moving. And if I adjust it any looser, it wants to slip. Here, Cal's dropping the log, and he's cut right into the split. Like most people would say that's a no-no, like they're gonna split apart, and for most people they would, but there's actually a technique for cutting stuff like this where they stay together, and I'm gonna do a video on that too. It's a special cut that I'm gonna do a video on it, so make sure you subscribe, you don't want to miss it. Obviously it split apart when it hit the ground, but it held up. You guys seen that split? It's a bad split. and they're pushing on it. Like most people, they would get cut through that back piece to where the split's at, and then that back piece would break off where the front piece ain't cut. But there's a way to do it where that's gonna be another video, so I'm not gonna go into that right now. That's a big tree. We're in a production setting. Like I have to get it done efficiently, so it's like I can't really take a lot of time to be talking and getting all the angles. And right now I just have this one camera, which actually glitched out up there for a minute. But anyhow, if you guys like these videos, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It'll really help me out.